Welcome back to another Harbor Podcast. I'm your host, the KINO Cowboy. I got Sumner, Boston, and Scott. We're talking about my personal favorite movie of the year so far, Evangelion 3.0 plus one, Thrice Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Or you can call it Shin Evangelion, or we can just call it Rebuild 4, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, just Rebuild 4. I forgot the name coming into this podcast because I have to do the quadratic formula every time I say the title of the movie.
Y equals MX plus boot.
Because it's like,
It's not the quadratic
do you
formula.
say 3.0? Do you say 3.0 plus 1.0, or do you say 3 plus 1?
Yeah, because I heard
Yeah,
3.0 plus 1, and that's incongruous, and I think you're not a true Ava fan.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call it Rebuild 4. But
Rebuild 4 sounds good.
Yeah, please do. It was my favorite movie of the year too, which maybe isn't fair because I've seen maybe like 3 or 4. But
to be fair, as much as I'm excited for Spider-Man, I doubt it's gonna be as enjoyable as this movie. So, or Matrix 4 or whatever else is coming out, So, anyway,
Hollywood doesn't
like,
have
just
the
on the front end.
balls.
Like I haven't experienced like as profound. Like when I watch a movie and I'm like, that's fucking profound.
yeah,
I haven't gotten feelings like that since, this might be a weird choice or whatever, but since I watched La La Land in theaters for the first time.
wow,
Like when I watched it, I was like, that's fucking incredible, and this touches deep layers of my life.
I didn't realize you
And
liked
it's
La
been a
La
while
Land
since that movie and Ava Rebuild 4 was like, holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I got to experience all 4 of the Evangelion rebuilds in one night. I just said, fuck it. I hadn't watched any of the other ones, and I watched all of them.
nice.
It's perfect. I got to see the beginning of the end because, like, I think if I would have started watching them and ended on 3, I'd been like, what the fuck are they going to do from here type thing. But I'm glad I got to see it from start to finish. And that was right after my, like, first real sit-down watch of Evangelion about 2 months prior. And so I've got the full story within, like, a 3-month period. And I was
That's really cool.
so happy. I felt so, like, everything felt validated. Everything felt good. I didn't feel dirty after watching the series like I always do. Like, I finally got some good closure. It felt very cathartic.
yeah.
Are you talking about Rebuild 4 specifically? Because I assume we're going to talk about all the rebuilds.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah.
Rebuild 4 for sure.
If you're listening and you haven't watched all of Evangelion and the rebuilds,
Good luck.
Good luck, because I don't even know what we're talking about, and I did.
See, here's the thing: is for Sumner and I, it was kind of frustrating only having the first 3 rebuilds to watch because of how the third one ends, obviously. And the first time you're watching the third rebuild, it's so intense. Like the first 25 minutes is just one.
It's
Ava battle,
beyond
and
disorienting.
you can't. It's hard to pay attention because you're constantly wondering, well, what the fuck's going on? It's like everything's different. 14 years later, what? And so having just those 3 for a while as an Ava fan, I was like, well, what is the purpose of these rebuild films? Like the 4th and final one needs to tie everything together for me to have a proper opinion and think that they're worthwhile. And thankfully the 4th rebuild film did everything I wanted it to do and more.
Lots of closure, lots of things I didn't think I needed, but ended up very, very happy they put in.
So
I still, and now just to give you some background, I've seen Evangelion the series twice. Once I watched it with you guys, and once just on my own, really a few months ago. So I've seen End of Ava twice. Back when I was in the States this summer in August and September, I watched the first 2 rebuilds with you, Adrian.
Yeah,
and I think some of you were there. And then 3 I watched 2 nights ago, and then the 4th one I watched yesterday. So I didn't have that much of a cliffhanger. But if I'm looking right, when was Rebuild 3 release?
2012.
2012. So that's a 9-year cliffhanger.
It was supposed to Rebuild 4 was supposed to come out in 2016, but he wanted to make Godzilla. So
which is fair. That movie's great.
Fair as fuck. And it was also probably good for him to take a break from animation for a while. And
I agree, and probably good for his mental health to get out of the Akari heads.
Well, he is Akari. That's like his whole thing.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, the difference between the original Evangelion series and the rebuilds is that Hideaki Anno started going to therapy.
Yeah, thank God.
He needed
Not
it.
only that, but he met a significant other that really changed his life, and that he talks about pulling him out of the muck, which I can relate to in a number of ways. And that's why I connected so strongly to the fourth rebuild film, because that significant other is represented by the new character from the rebuilds called Mari. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But I just want to recap some of the differences between the rebuilds and the original series. So obviously the rebuilds start the same, like the first 6 episodes or so, or the first movie, but done in a much more cinematic fashion. It really goes out of its way to feel theatrical, which
that's a good word for cinematic. I mean, it's always because the original series was the first real animated series that got me wondering. It was what do you call cinematography and animation? I still don't know what you could, but it's it was the first show that I was holy shit, this looks incredible. And then the rebuilds rolled around, and watching those is holy fuck, this shit's fire.
That's one of those pre 21st century shows that is feature quality. And because TV has become so cinematic now that it's easy to differentiate by calling something theatrical with this. So
tell you what, Evangelion sold me when I heard those locusts for the first time. That's the best locusts in cinema history.
There's a lot of locusts in anime, and we should say, Casher, your weeb cred is far and away the highest out of them, more than the three of us put together.
Probably, I'm a fucking weirdo. This is one of my favorites. I'd probably put it in my top 10 for sure.
Pushing what anime?
Top 10 anime for sure. After watching the fourth rebuild movie, it's definitely in it's probably number 6 from my top anime total. It's completely different than any other mech anime you're gonna watch, which I love mech anime, period. So if you give me big robots fighting other big shit, I'm gonna be into it. But this has got something completely deeper and a lot more existential to it. And that's what fucking sold me on it, man.
It's not about the mechas. As cool as some of the fights are kind of the least interesting thing about Evangelion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
that's a good point.
And there are some badass fights in it. And that's saying despite that, it's the least interesting thing.
It's the fight for what is humanity and what is important. And if the means are justify the ends, or the ends justify the means, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It just gets
the Avas themselves, the mechs, they play this role, and it's the way the entirety of the OG plus the rebuilds are commented on with the fourth movie. It really illustrates that the Avas exist. Lore version is they exist to help defend mankind against angels or whatever. But really, what the fourth one showed everyone were the Avas were Gendo's demented perception of a path to godhood or something. And it's it with the ending of the fourth one, and it's I know we'll get there or whatever, but Shinji's realization that what he really wanted was a universe without Avas. It's it just kind of it further illustrates that notion that the robot fighting is actually some of the least interesting stuff.
The whole thing is just a journey on self, and to learning now to not self-loathe yourself, but to really put others first and to empathize. And, the end of the original Evangelion series has Shinji not doing that, Shinji picking the bad fucking choice, and you did it,
bro, because it's it the way I've experienced Evangelion, all of them has grown with me as I have grown. And it's so when I watched End of Evangelion for the first time, I was all right, that's a little bleak, but that's pretty powerful. Nevertheless,
I was so fucking angry at Shinji. I was
really? Well, no, because it's
all that stuff. I got everything I wanted from the rebuilds, but I was so fucking angry. I was you had me follow this kid who is supposed you kind of want to grow with the person.
Yeah.
And he doesn't grow. He stays stuck. And
I argue that.
I don't care.
You don't.
Here we go with the nuance.
No, I mean, do you really think from the beginning of the series to the end of Evangelion, he doesn't grow?
I don't think he grows in like a forward motion. I think he kind of like becomes more selfish and more about himself more than anything.
Because a lot of his reasoning, you could argue for stopping, because he had the chance to just let it happen. Human instrumentality. You could argue those were selfish reasons because he liked being with his friends and he didn't want that to go. And
it just didn't seem like he made like good. The choices he made throughout that whole series just frustrates the fuck out of me.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
but
I argue that's the point. But
yeah, sure, it is the point, and
a lot of weebs can't handle it because they're casuals, they're normies.
You get to break down this
because they don't get their big buff, cool banging women anime protagonist avatar that they can vicariously live through.
All right, call me out. That's fine.
No,
well, because it's like what Casher said was really like perceptive in that, like, because I watched End of Evangelion for the first time in like early 2016 or whatever, and we know how that year went. Jesus Christ. It might have been early 2017, after Trump was elected, so so I think it was early 2017.
I'm really looking forward to you tying Trump into Evangelion, but continue.
Yeah, no, nothing to do with that. But it's like, so it was like 4.5 years ago that I watched End of Evangelion for the first time, and I was like, well, that's pretty bleak, but it's still pretty dope, and it's not like without hope, the ending of like the original, but like watching the fourth rebuild, like it had stuff dawning on me that it was like, holy shit, like how didn't I think of this? Like how didn't I realize that the ending of like End of Evangelion or whatever is like Shinji choosing essentially like a completely lifeless world, without any other humans, without plant life, without animals, like how bleak, like
but is that what he chooses?
No, well,
this is a serious question. Is that what he chooses?
No. I don't think he consciously chose it. Like, I feel like he was trying his best. The character of Shinji was in the closing scenes of End of Evangelion, and he was trying to do right by himself and trying to do right by others, and he just couldn't necessarily pull it off.
He's a nihilist. It's what he does.
It's like, it's not without hope or whatever, but the End of Evangelion the way it ends is like really existentially bleak.
And what were you saying, Adrian?
There is the potential for him to reverse some of the stuff that was happening with instrumentality. So you feel for a second like, okay, maybe there is some hope here, and then he turns and he starts choking Asuka, and you're like, wait, no, what do you stop?
Yeah.
So kind of like it's not like a horror movie, but like horror movies have like that double ending where like, oh shit, it's nice. And then it's like, wait, no, stop. What are you doing? So.
Well, no, because it also illustrated like one of the most useful things about the fourth rebuild to me or whatever is that to me, it accurately represented what human instrumentality would have actually constituted. Like we saw glimpses of it in End of Evangelion, like when everyone across the world is like popping and turning into these crosses and shit like that or whatever. So the perspective in End of Evangelion, the original, is like, whoa, look at this like crazy cosmic shit happening that looks really pretty and beautiful and stuff like that or whatever. But the fourth one illustrated like the interiority of like the lived experience in human instrumentality, and it's like the Fairly Odd Parents episode where they all just turn to gray blobs. Everyone is the same, and everyone is coexisting in their sameness in this same space, and it's so bland and narcissistic of Gendo. Like that is his preferred reality, is that he would do this to the entirety of life on the planet just so he can achieve whatever it is he's after. And
Well,
it's
so-
like,
I mean, he's after his wife, but you can't appreciate your
second.
wife if you've merged consciousnesses. Like you've ceased to be individuals. So
no,
it
'cause
doesn't
it's
even
like
make
one
sense.
of the like when I was watching for like when I watched originally like the end of Evangelion, and I was doing some internet reading, you know, on how other people had reacted to it and stuff like that or whatever. I saw this like comment on like Reddit or like some discussion forum or whatever that like probably would have come from somebody, you know, like Scott uses the word weeb or whatever. And that's like what I imagine the person behind this kind of comment would have said, but it was something along the lines of like, well, Gendo is the only person in the entirety of the series who's acting entirely out of a sense of love for his wife. Or any, you know, it's like, oh, he loves his wife and he's trying to get her back. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, that's stupid. You can't, love is not pursuing like
Man,
a
you ain't-
dead person
you ain't never
so
been pussy drunk?
intensely
ain't
that
never had
like
pussy
you
so good you
destroy
wanna
the
bring it back
lives
from
of
the
your
dead?
son and the entirety of the planet. Like okay.
I would destroy the planet for some grade A pussy.
Dude,
Yeah,
that just-
UA must
Moral
he
of the
must have
story,
thrown down.
not be a simp.
Dude is down bad like a motherfucker.
Pretty
I'm
much,
gonna merge
yeah.
all human consciousness.
The key, one of the big things that the rebuild did for me though is it gave me closure on my favorite character, Miss Asuka Langley Soryu.
Bro, for real.
She's my
Fuck.
fucking favorite. There are the only moments that I really got teary-eyed during Evangelion are moments with her in it. I fucking
I feel
love
that.
her. And to see see her as a person, not in just an Ava the whole time during the fourth rebuild where she's just kind of hanging out and
Yeah.
almost like falling in love with the dude that she's with. I can't remember the dude's name, Shinji's childhood friend, and really giving her more substance than just this angry girl with mommy problems, but actually someone who can empathize and feel well and tries to bring Shinji back to a place that he's at secretly. But you know,
Well, all the characters are traumatized. And it
like
that informs like the worst of their behavior and their decision making, and that is especially true in Asuka's case.
Dude, it's crazy to like the way that it interprets and shows us what using children for war would be like using them as weapons.
Mhm.
Very Ender's Gamey almost.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Here's the thing.
her progress was my favorite, absolutely by far.
So
Fair.
the original run, Evangelion plus End of Evangelion, is its own thing, and then the rebuilds are its own entity, but they're also part of the same entity. So it's kind of strange because
Time Warp's really weird.
the
like,
rebuilds
the weird
mirror
timeline.
the original series, but the whole concept of it is like, especially the fourth one, is like a reflection of Anno's past work and his past thoughts on these kinds of themes. And so there's
And how they play into his
there's a
own
meta
mental health.
narrative to it, but it's not what you think it would be. And so the second one is where things start to differ from the original run, and Shinji tries to save Rei, and he accidentally initiates an early third impact, half of a third impact. So
He did what Gendo couldn't do for the entire series, worth noting. He literally yanked Rei out of the other world. Like she was dead, and then he brought her back.
But it was just sad because it ends up being for nothing because he doesn't realize what Rei is at that point, you know.
Bro,
yeah, it's so sad.
shit. That was one of the hardest parts of the fourth. Like we were able to see like Rei like tasting miso soup for the first time, and Rei liking the cats so much or whatever. Like that was some of the most intense humanity of the entire series. And then she just, you know, and
my favorite part of this movie by far was Rei.
Because the first third of the film is a slice of life movie, really. And finally we get like some redemption for Rei. Not that she needed redemption, but she at the end of the third movie
get some development for her,
at the end of the third movie, third rebuild, that is, she finally realizes that what she is, and because she's like confused. And so it is very fascinating to follow her through the beginning of the fourth movie. a very great creative decision, and it is a shame, but that is one of my favorite parts of the entire series, actually, is following Rey around.
For sure.
Yeah, that whole the whole where Shinji's trying to deal with his depression, and then her becoming more and more human and individualistic, learning the shaking hands means I want to see you, or saying goodbye means I want to see you again, and all this.
Yeah.
Bro, that shit fucking broke my heart.
Dude, for real.
It broke me.
I want to stick on this for something. I have some stuff to say about this. First of all, when Rey popped like his freaking zit, I'm not audible when I watch movies. I'm not Adrian's Kino's girlfriend, for example. I'm not like talking, like reacting. That one, I mean, that's one of those I went like gas was like, what? Like audibly made a set, which is not something I do a lot during movies, you know. So that was
Adrian got to see it once and then rewatch most of it with me. So he was watching it the second time and watching me react to it or whatever, and that was when it, like you, I was like just gutted to the point of like audible, like.
Yeah, I paused it and went outside and smoked a cigarette. I was like, I gotta.
yeah.
Which isn't something you should do if you're a true Kino connoisseur, but you know.
Yeah. Sometimes I have laundry to do, Adrian. I have roommates. I need to hang my laundry. Yeah, because it's done in the washer.
It ruins the immersion, but that's okay.
I know, but Spain also is run by a socialist party that jacks up its electricity prices on weekdays, so I have to do all my laundry in the weekend.
You really? Is that for real?
Yeah, I'm not even joking. That's real. It's weird. I don't, and like, yeah. But
I want to compare the difference of Shinji not wanting to get into the robot in Evangelion, end of Evangelion. You know, he's just obviously he's like lifeless on the floor, not wanting to get in. Well, it's a little more intense this time when he's lifeless on the floor, because Karu in the last movie showed him that he basically destroyed the fucking world. So he gets to see the outcome, a partial outcome of the third impact early. And then he also gets to witness Karu's death. So both of those things are hanging on his mind. So to me, it's more than ever understandable that he's pretty much a husk right now. Can't even function.
Yeah.
And then he starts to function again, and then Rey dies.
Yeah.
The only woman other than Masato maybe who's ever really shown him any affection. And Masato does it in a very odd way, because she's who she is.
She's awesome. I fucking love it.
Asuka does, but it's in her way, so it's
in her way.
I want to talk
it
about
doesn't
that,
count
though.
too much.
I want to talk about Asuka though, and the fact is, in the first go, because we learn through this movie that the Eva universe is like going through cycles, and there, whatever number cycle we're on, we see Karu's coffins. This has been going on for a while now. And in the cycle we see, the original series, Asuka is giving him shit the entire show and this and that, and he comes to, you know, be kind of fond of her and stuff, but she represents a very toxic part of person in his life. And this time around in the fourth rebuild, he kind of just cuts the bullshit with her. And like, obviously this is skipping to the end of the film, but like the beach scene that mirrors Evangelion end of Eva, it kind of just cuts the bullshit, kind of chooses to cut her out of his life, and then he goes off with Mari, which I think represents Anno's real life struggles.
I wonder who the real life Asuka
That's what.
was.
Well, I'm not gonna.
No, bro. Like it legit. Like I gotta say this real quick. Like the thing about Asuka is like she is toxic or whatever, but like I don't know if it's inherently toxic the way she interacts with Shinji, because I really believe that the character of Asuka is there to illustrate it. If not to the viewer, at least to Shinji. Like, Asuka does not have Shinji's problems, but she has different problems for similar reasons.
For sure.
And the effect that Asuka has on Shinji is not too unsimilar from the effects that Shinji really can have on everybody else.
Yeah.
Shinji, he's very beta and, non-assertive and stuff and he thinks that by being beta and not assertive and not letting people know what he wants and, trying to rein in how he interacts with them or whatever, he thinks that's the way to make things better for most of the series or whatever. But he had to realize that it's just making it much worse on the people that he cares about, and it's much worse for his life in general. And I think his saying, kind of farewell to Asuka at the end of 4 was kind of in line with his saying farewell to his own bullshit, along with,
he's saying, I don't need you I don't need you to yell at me anymore. I can do it myself.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that I connected to this parallel in my own life. I'm not going to name any names, obviously, but I'm glad this came out when it did after I have experienced a lot of growth in my own life. If this would have came out when I first watched Ava, which was at the SAC when I was in that pseudo-nihilist phase, and I loved the ending of Evangelion back then, still do for different reasons. Yeah, but this came out at the perfect time for me, and it was so cathartic and beautiful, and it's cathartic for, well, obviously Anno, but all the characters in the film. In the first cycle, which I'm calling the original series, is all the train scenes is when we focus on Shinji's consciousness and his inner battle with himself and what others think of him and how they perceive him and all that. And now mirrored in the 4th rebuild, it's flipped, and now we're getting directly into his father and his father's insecurities. And I thought that was extremely powerful.
Crucial.
Because
I think
in the 4th rebuild, we learn that he's used the key of Nebuchadnezzar, and he's barely has any humanity left at this point. Yep. So for us to dive in on his problems, I think was some of the most powerful storytelling I've seen in a long time.
Gendo is the ultimate simp.
Are we? Yes. Are we? By the way, side note: are we supposed to know what the key of Nebuchadnezzar is, or do we just go with it?
No, it's just cool cryptic storytelling.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
No, I think it ties back earlier into that. Gendo has a demented, unhealthy obsession with mysticism and becoming a god, and disassociating from real life. Into whatever the fuck. Because when they said it in the movie, he was I used the key of Nebuchadnezzar or whatever. And my actual reaction was yeah, he's just fucking batshit. And it's it works because he's literally non-human or whatever, so it's good on you, but it's yeah, I don't think we are supposed to know what this is. I think the takeaway is that Gendo is fucking inhuman, for lack of a better word. Yeah,
but he's not. He can't be. We see that when they're in the anti-universe,
right? The imaginary universe, dude.
The universe.
Sounds the Nega Scott.
Clear.
The Nega Chin.
Clear audio.
But we see that clearly has some humanity left. Do you guys ever? Because I think there's a lot. Do you ever wish you could just strip all humanity from yourself?
No.
I think that all the time.
Oh,
I feel psychedelics do a partial job of it, and I feel death will probably do a pretty thorough job.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Or whatever, but not personally. I feel that being a human is a limited kind of. Okay, because I struggle with not nihilism, but we all struggle with the kind of variations on the existential despair.
Yeah, sure.
And stuff like that or whatever. And one of my little perspectives on it that I find helpful or whatever is working to a point of I don't know. I'm quite glad to be a human as opposed to not glad, but it's I don't, because there's other stuff in the universe that's alive. The shit that one of the crucial characters of the entirety of the Ava universe, especially the rebuilds though, is
Pin.
Fuck, why am I spacing? Misato's bow.
Kaji.
Kaji, bro. Yeah.
Kaji's a bro,
you know,
dude.
because it's like there are other forms of life. You know, there are the plants, there are the animals, there are the cats, you know, like fishes, etc., or whatever. And it's like those things are alive too. And it's like, but I feel like being a human is kind of like a limited time kind of opportunity. Kind of didn't need to take it so far, but
Limited time offer.
Oh yeah.
Well,
pretty
I feel
existential talking about Evangelion. Who would have thought?
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
often want to strip myself of all emotions and kind of hate this meat husk that I'm around in. And I if I get too into it, I start to sound like Rick Sanchez or like a Redder. So I don't want to go that far. I wanted to bring this up. I really connected at one point with Ray learning how to be human because I feel like in our own journeys, I tend to shove my emotions down a lot and have trouble expressing myself directly. I think that becomes basically I wasn't allowed to express myself as a child in various ways.
Shout out to parents.
Yeah, or honestly, probably the school system equally, if not more.
Yeah.
But there's something with Ray. I really get in my head about like, oh, well, love, that's just pheromones, that's just chemicals, yada yada. But there's something that was very powerful to me when Asuka was telling Ray that she's like, you're programmed to care for Shinji because you're based off of his mother. And Ray basically says, I don't care. I enjoy having these emotions.
Yeah.
Like that was the most profound statement of the whole movie for me.
That's very fair.
Despite all the crazy cinematography, despite the incomprehensible third act of this movie that I'm still processing. That's what did it for me. And I needed to say that before the podcast was over. And I'm glad I did.
Sure.
No, Ava Rebuild 4, like for it, like you say, for as much huge, massive scale shit that it's got going on, it's most satisfying in like the smallest moments, honestly. And that's rare for any movie to pull off, like in a manner that's satisfying.
This is such a basic thing. The spectacle is there to serve as a metaphor for the, as you said, interiority of the characters.
Yeah.
Right. The battles mean something other than cool battles. And that's what makes Ava different than I haven't seen much Gundam, but for example, Gundam or another mecha,
I think where they differentiate is Gundam is more about the effects of war as a whole on society and as individuals as well. And like Evangelion's more about the psyche of the human condition and all that shit.
Yeah.
It has more to do with like decades-long war and the terrorism of it and shit like that for Gundam.
For sure.
But we do get some fucking sick action in this movie.
Yeah, we get some sick, nasty action.
Like when they're racing Gendo to, is it the North Pole or the South Pole? I can't remember.
It doesn't matter.
One of the poles, dude.
And they go down and like there's like thousands and they're that is like one of the most insane action set pieces of all time.
Even the beginning of this, which is almost too much, honestly, when they're in Paris and
that shit was so wild, dog. That was so wild.
When she's in the air just spinning around, that borders a little too much on just crazy anime bullshit for me,
dude.
It definitely turns it around at the ridiculousness of crucifying a dude with the Eiffel Tower. It's so stupid, but it works.
My favorite thing about Evangelion fights is that they are absurd and they are ridiculous, but they feel like perfectly choreographed.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it feels like a performance almost.
Yeah. No, dude, that's the thing about so many of those set pieces. It's like how many of the little aspects do you have to wonder, like, how hard did somebody have to think to conceive this? You know, like with the spinning and stuff.
The storyboard artists, their job was so hard on this movie.
Well, it's like the animation is so high level now. I can't even imagine.
Like, dude, it's nice to see
this level of theatrical 2D animation is insane.
Well, there's a good amount of CGI in this, but it's
not
typically and they typically use it when they have to. When it's like, I don't even know how they would animate this in 2 dimensions. And then there's sometimes for example, there's a few shots in the Shinji Gendo fight where I was like, did they really need to do this shot in 3D? But that lasts, 11 seconds tops, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, dude. Plus, the Shinji versus Gendo fight is incredible because it's like beyond metaphysical.
It's beyond it's to me watching that final fight of like the 2 unit ones or what was actually disassociative. Yeah. Like it was really like it was very psychologically bizarre.
It's the old Ava and the old Ano fighting his new self after therapy.
That's right.
And here's the thing. In lesser hands, it would be so on the nose as to be cringy, but we've had 4 movies plus another movie plus a series to build it up.
That backs it all up to where it all makes sense thematically. And
I'll be honest, I wasn't even that on board with the rebuild series until this one. Like the first I enjoyed them. They had some cool stuff.
I didn't know what they were aiming for with it.
I didn't know what they were aiming for either.
That was my problem.
I'm glad I got to watch them all at once. Like I said, I would have felt really unfulfilled just watching 3 and then waiting so long.
Right.
I will tell you what, one of my favorite fucking things that happens in the 4th one is when Asuka removes that fucking eye patch. And fucking pulls that shit out of her eye, dude. I got on my feet. I was like, fuck yes.
So the angel, when it attacked her, it's somehow embedded in her eye and she takes it out, and just because. And also, is Asuka a clone now?
She is a clone. That's what it's explained. She's one of the Shinigami. She's just like Rey, basically. Yeah. Like she's the same thing, and she comes to terms with that and is absorbed by the Ava or the angel, basically. But I don't care how much sense it makes. Seeing someone rip out something like that out of their fucking eyeball, it got me fucking lit.
There's a lot of you got to understand. There's a lot of rule of cool in this movie, where you kind of just got to go with it.
Correct.
In Evangelion.
No, correct. And it's like when a lot of movies like kind of operate by that kind of MO, it's like they haven't really necessarily earned it. It's like, hey, come along with us in the way we view shit, whether or not it's any good. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about what you've got going on. But Ava 4 was like, I'm in awe, whatever you've got for me. Yeah, just it put it in me.
It's just like the anime does the rule of cool quite a lot, and
anime is a genre.
It was cool to see that. I was fucking.
Ava is the only anime, with the exception of like self-contained movies like Akira or whatever, that I've seen like in its entirety. Yeah, someday I'll probably watch, your Cowboy Bebops or something, but as it stands, like Ava is the only one, and
wow,
yeah, me too. I don't watch anime.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I think I've seen
dorks.
In its entirety Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, of course. Most of Yu Yu Hakusho, not the last arc.
It's so good.
But yeah, I love that show as a kid. But other than that, no, I'm really not a huge anime fan outside of your Ghibli, Akira, as you said, a handful of things. But
I've been going through and watching a bunch of anime movies that I hadn't seen in a while. Like I watched Your Name for the first time a couple of days.
Your Name's great.
Whoa, that movie fucking killed me.
Yeah, this isn't Your Name podcast, but that movie's great.
But it's like I was like comparing. It was like
and way more accessible than Evangelion.
Yeah, there's the movies and stuff are a lot more accessible than a lot of these TV series. But I was like, I can only name like 10 to 15 anime movies I've probably ever watched. And so I was like a deep dive. Yeah, I've watched a lot of series. There's like I don't know where to find a lot of these, or I don't know where to jump in at for some of these movies, but then I realized it's a fucking movie, I can just jump in.
Yeah, that's the whole point. So, there's no Ghost in the Shell series you need to watch.
But also like there's also a lot of really shitty anime movies. Like
there's a lot of shitty anime
Broly.
Yeah. So it's like it was hard for me to pick and choose. But I've got a list of shit I've been watching, and there's like Summer Wars and Your Name and a few other ones I've watched.
Was Summer Wars good?
Summer Wars is the shit.
Okay, I kind of want to watch that one.
I like
it's by the same animator who did the old Digimon movie.
I know that.
And it's dope.
I feel like anime as a genre, it's kind of like horror or even like maybe even action if you count all the direct to DVD Steven Seagal bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of the crap to good stuff ratio is significantly higher in the crap department than some other genres. I know that's very broadly speaking.
It's like when I was younger, I used to watch any fucking anime I could pick up.
Fruits Basket.
They look cool. But now it's like, it's very rare that I sit down and watch an anime just because unless it's like super hype and gets me in real quick and the story just keeps getting better and better.
You're caught up with One Piece, we should mention. So grain of salt here. But
well, we should
you guys are fucking casuals.
Point out the fact how cool it is that something as high concept as Evangelion is such a worldwide phenomenon.
It's crazy to me, man. It's fucking crazy to me.
You come for the mech battles, you stay for the psychological turmoil.
You stay,
and I really do think it speaks as incomprehensible as it can be at times. The fact that it has such a global following and has for almost 30 years now, I think does speak to the just universal themes of alienation that Anno somehow is able to capture. And it's and part of it is there's almost no way you could capture these themes in a medium outside of animation. You need that freedom to go ape shit.
I think the reason why people watch it is because the opening theme is such a fucking banger.
It is.
That song is so fucking good.
I'll put on Cruel Angel's Thesis while I'm cleaning the house.
But how banging is the theme track to Rebuild number 4? Let me get, dude.
Yeah,
cozy all day.
There's some sultry tunes.
City Pop is fantastic choices in fucking the Eva series.
There's great music in this one. The song that plays when they're entering that village and it's entering like the daily life of these people who are in this like contained area outside of the red
for the third impact, like a third impact fallout zone. Yeah,
it's crazy as fuck. But Katsuragi, she gets a bit of redemption at the end with the gunfight and stuff, and I was glad to see her. After all, she cares for Shinji, even though she pretends like she doesn't, even after he caused the third impact.
Which is again just insane amount of character development from that.
No, and I have to jump in like on that point real quick, because to me, like one of the best writing moves that the Rebuild series made was like that like super subversive time gap between 2 and 3 that really does not get elucidated upon very much.
No, like, it's the curse of the Avas, and that's it.
Yeah, well, it's like it flashes back to God, is it Kaji? Yeah, Kaji. God, how am I forgetting? It flashes back to him being like, all right, I got this shit or whatever, but like the disorientation of wrapping up the second one and then hopping into the third one with like, what? I have no fucking idea what's going on, and you don't until Misato and whoever the fuck tells Shinji like, this is what you did, and the rest of the series is everyone, Shinji included, kind of dealing with what he did. And
one of the things that they did with Misato's character that I really loved is that they gave her a kid. Being like raised, and like Shinji goes and meets him, and man, that really fucked with me. Like I resonated a lot. Like the impact of Shinji not only caused this giant like third impact, but also like Misato probably would have been a really good mother.
Yeah, like, but now she's like no better than Gendo.
But she can't. Yeah, she can't do it because of the effects of what Shinji did and what like the curse of the whole thing, and it just made me really, really fucking sad.
Yeah,
so I was like, I could just imagine Misato being this really nurturing and beautiful mother, and she never got that chance.
How well he gets his characters too, like Asuka, Misato, but like what really like absolutely shocked me or whatever isn't like what the last like 5-10 minutes of the movie where like we get glimpses of fully self-actualized Shinji, like a Shinji with his shit together.
A first for the series.
Yeah, first for the series, and like what I really would have thought is that it would come off kind of oddly or feel a bit contrived. No, it feels perfectly natural and like perfectly in touch with like the events that we've seen play out.
He's still him. He's not braggadocious. He's not alpha. He's very calm, dare I say, Eastern in his power and his sort of just like calm, being like water, kind of dealing with events, talking to his father.
Fucking zen, dude. Very honed in on his emotions.
Exactly.
It's powerful. After all the shit we've seen Shinji through, all these movies and show, he says, fuck it. He pulls the concept of Evangelions out of the equation and finds peace. Like, how crazy is that? That is
I was
not
happy
what I
to
expected.
see the brief glimpse of the world without Avis too, and seeing him surprised by Mari and all that. It was cool to see.
No, because it like Adrian too. I think you probably watched the rebuilds first in like 2017 or 2018. Or whatever. Yeah. And so we've been waiting on 4 for like 3 or 4 years. And everything that's happened in those 3 or 4 years has been really difficult. Like not just for us, but for everybody. Especially like what Scott was saying earlier about the alienation or whatever. I think it also speaks to like themes and like the feelings of apocalypse. Like especially like after this whole pandemic year, we just had to see a movie like Rebuild #4, where like, especially for me and Adrian, who've been waiting like 3 or 4 years to see this movie, to actually see and to actually buy the apotheosis of Shinji Ikari in like a movie was like beyond restorative. And like it was insane because like it I didn't realize how taxing it was to live with Shinji as he was, because he's a pain in the ass and he's trying hard to make shit better, and he like fails a lot and shit, but we love him, and it's like, but he's just Shinji. And then we see him get his shit together, and we see him like have a functioning relationship with the fucking hottie. He's calm,
he breaks the cycle, which of course can be parallel to the cycle of depression that all of us struggle with. I know. So it almost brought me to tears to see him out of that cycle.
Yes, it's very much same.
Very hopeful, very, very hope filled.
Yeah.
Do we like Mari as a character?
I do.
He serves her purpose. And
I think she's ambiguous enough. Not ambiguous, like I think she's a positive force or whatever, but I think they didn't give us a ton of exposition on Mari for a reason.
That's fair. I think she, as Adrian said, she serves her purpose. And she is a bit of a not entirely blank slate, but you can read what you want into her.
Well, I know what she serves in Hideaki Anno's life, so
for sure
that's all I need, really.
One of the and I didn't know that until after I watched the movie, and I was reading up on what the hell I just watched.
One of the things that made me pretty happy about it is knowing that even after the third impact, Shinji's 2 best childhood friends were still alive.
Dude,
that was so
good for the heart.
Because dude, I was like, because you meet the little sister of one of them on the ship when he's imprisoned. And you're like, fuck, what happened to him? And you're like, really just like, oh, that sucks, like he's dead. And then you see he's got a family, he's a doctor for a village.
He's a doctor, like he's like helping this entire community.
It shows that even with like great tragedy, like there's always something.
Humans will keep on.
Life finds a way, motherfucker.
Life
shout out Jeff Goldblum.
Well, no, because it's like that's one of the instances of like how the fourth one completely fixed stuff with the end of Evangelion that we didn't know was necessarily broken, because like the ending of end of Evangelion reflects Anno's like best attempts at combating his depression and coming to grips with some things and being able to move on or whatever. But the way the fourth one wrapped up illustrated that one of the primary, like, depression's very personal, and so I don't want to say that one thing will work for everybody, but I feel like, as somebody that's dealt with depression for a long time, really intensely, I strongly feel that one of the prerequisites of being able to get a grip on that in your life is ensuring that you stay connected to the web of life.
Yeah.
To nature, to people, to your friends.
It's fucking hard to.
Yeah, it's really
it's so
hard.
easy to not.
Really
I
hard.
still struggle with it.
Reclusiveness
I'm getting emotional.
is very easy.
Yeah.
I also deal with that kind of shit for the whole month of October. Besides the one weekend I went out, I was reclusive, and I had my first day of non-being reclusive, just being outside. Because just for some background, since I got back from, I went to a music festival last month, and since I got back, it has been rainy and overcast for about 4 weeks straight. I'm very
seasons are changing too, man. You know, mood's starting to dip a little bit.
The coldness and no sunlight plunged me. It fucking murdered me. And so finally yesterday, it was a beautiful day, so I drove up to Northwest Arkansas and walked around and had a great time and got some sunlight, saw some good movies, got to have a couple drinks with a couple buddies I hadn't seen in a while. And it was completely therapeutic, and I woke up.
Yeah,
person.
That's awesome to hear.
The web of life thing, man, is definitely, I agree with it. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that when I saw those two characters, that gave me relief is that takes that guilt from Shinji. Like, you know how bad he is. That is
true, man.
And as soon as I saw them and realized that, even though Shinji wasn't out of it yet, I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that these two people are alive and there's not even more thrown on top of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you get to see him at his lowest, and it's hard to imagine what's lower than that.
In the OG series, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the rebuilds, the person that Gendo forces Shinji's Eva to attack because they're an angel is Asuka. Is that right? And
in the original, OG, I think it's Toji or one of his friends, right?
Yeah, and in the original, it's Toji, and what he did to Toji is what triggered his downward spiral.
Yeah,
right. You know, and what Gendo did to Shinji specifically, but but he still got fucked up somehow in I wasn't able to rewatch the fourth one before we sat down for this. Some of it, but
it was like them. It was just a relief to see that wasn't added on to it.
Yes.
And it was beautiful how much people forgived him for causing a partial.
Man, it thrilled me a lot. It was,
which in fairness, he didn't know what would happen. He didn't understand how bad that would be. And even Masato says she kind of blamed herself because she does that, which is her own problem.
Yeah,
Masato, I don't know how much she overcomes her demons as much as she just kamikazes things.
Yeah, I don't think she ever did, personally. I think
she
accepted them. Yeah,
she accepted them.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
that's all you can do sometimes. Sometimes you're like, here's my brain. It's kind of fucked up, and this is the hand I was dealt, and here we are. You got to know how to hold them.
That's one.
You got to know how to fold them.
That's one of the primary tenets of acceptance and commitment therapy. Which is one of the predominant schools of therapeutics worldwide, or one of the primary methodologies of learning to make a kind of peace with depression is that acceptance. Everything's not good all the time. That's kind of the resting.
There's an acceptance of my serotonin receptors are weird.
Yeah.
There's an acceptance there.
Yeah.
Now,
big truth.
The sad shit that I see is some people just not getting this movie, and they're like, "Oh, he just remade End of Evangelion." I'm like, "Wow, you missed the entire point of the movie."
Did you not watch it? Did the person not watch that? That's what I initially thought these were. Where these were just rehashes made into movies to make money. That's genuinely what I thought.
It's no, dude.
I didn't do that shit, and so I was
they're partially that.
Watched, and I was like, okay, this is a continuance of the story, because time's not linear. Time is not forward.
Right.
Alien, it circles back until it can finally be complete. And so
it's not linear in real life, but it seems that way.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure they needed 4 movies to do it, but I think Anno needed 4 movies to do it, if that makes
they-
sense.
they definitely did 4
see, I
movies.
have a theory here, and this is like I full disclosure, I feel I'm completely pulling this out of my ass or whatever, but like one of the defining features of like the 4 rebuild movies is that they are painful. Like Casher, I don't know how you like marathon them or whatever. It is like what you're saying about whether or not it needed 4 movies or whatever is like, I see it and experience it as being like, it's like Anno needed that time for this to be as like emotionally taxing as possible. Because by the time you make it to the end of any one of the rebuilds, you're like slightly exhausted. And then whatever is happening in the very end is like this fucking onslaught of like, you are completely unprepared for all of this, yet you get it anyway. So yeah, I guess I'm just, throwing in a defensive word of
my binge, the way I was able to do it. I don't think I could have watched those any other way.
Huh.
I think I needed the continuance of the story because I don't know if I want to sit there and think about like all the answers if I didn't know. I have to know what was going on and what was the progress of the story. Otherwise, I would have had mad anxiety about it, honestly.
Adrian and I got to live 3 or 4 years with the image of the 3 of them walking off into existential abyss, dog.
Screw
It
that.
was so bad.
Screw that.
So bad.
Well, you needed the amount of movies it took to get to that conclusion. Otherwise, it wouldn't have the correct weight, I don't feel.
Hey,
And
you
plus-
could have done 3.
I don't think
All
so.
right, you do it in 3, Scott. Let's see you do it.
I don't think so at all.
All right, I will.
Talk
Talk to me next week. I'll have it done.
Right.
The third movie would have had to been like 4 hours. Like it's its own story.
So just 3 movies.
It's its own story while still being part of the whole.
I think it could have
franchise,
just used one hour and 45-minute holiday special.
I really think it could have been a PowerPoint. Okay.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I like that there is a moment on the beach at the end.
Yeah, all good anime have to have beach scenes.
Well, you're
Right.
wondering like, well, there's a chance that he could just let this shit happen again.
Not today,
and-
Satan.
The fact that he doesn't sent like chills down my spine almost, like, because all the animation starts to break apart again. I'm like, oh great, here we go. Nope.
Me and you were talking last week, Adrian. We were playing some games, and you mentioned that, and I didn't hit me until I was like, oh shit, until you said it. It was like, this was a good comfort movie for this year.
Yeah.
And you would
Yes.
never think of, I
Peak
would never have
catharsis.
thought of that like that. And I was like, wait, it really, truly is, man.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and it's just like truly, genuinely feel nice after the end of that movie. I feel like things finally went right.
I agree.
It took me a minute. It probably took me until this podcast to really process that movie. I'll be honest. And again, I saw
Fair
it
enough.
yesterday.
It's too long. You should know immediately.
No, I watched it the night it came out. I watched it, and I was like, holy shit. 30 minutes after that, I realized that it was everything I wanted it to be. I was like, what the fuck? And then
Right.
the next day rewatched it. And normally I wait a little while to rewatch movies, but I was right. I could have rewatched it that night, but I was like, I'll just go to sleep. But so that's pretty rare for me, but I can't begin to talk about how personal this film was for me and how much it means to me. So, it's
I
just
hope
one
they
of
come
those.
out with a badass collector's edition of all 4 movies.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
coming.
you know they will.
It's disgusting. I wish I could have it, but it's
I
disgusting.
want Ava 1, 2, and 3 all holding the Blu-rays.
Yeah, dude, we don't get much of a glimpse in those 14 years that he was gone, but it is interesting that Kaji was talking with and working with Karu, and I would kind of wish we could have gotten more of that, but
Same.
you got shit to do.
Well, it's one of those things where it's quite clear to me, like the defining aspect of like honestly all of the Evangelion stories, like the OG and the rebuilds, is he had no idea how they were gonna end until he ended them. Like it maybe not no idea. I'm sure he had a shape, but it that sounds like one of those plot lines that he might have put together in hindsight, of like maybe this is a way I can piece these plot lines together in a manner, that is satisfactory to
Also, we get
myself.
to realize that Kaji actually did more than we thought he did, and was actually
Yes.
a huge impact of the trajectory of these characters. So that was a nice inclusion.
Yeah, because like one of the defining like themes of like Evangelion, like the OG and the rebuilds, is just apocalypse and like the end of things and how people interact and deal with like that sense of impending doom or whatever. And like the OG essentially kept it to Shinji and Nerve stuff. The plot lines of the people at the front, the front lines trying to make sure that the angels didn't, decimate humanity or whatever. And then the fourth one took care to illustrate like all this other shit that's going on, the web of life, like what we were talking about earlier, like the humans and like how cities have remained, well, settlements, villages or whatever. And it's like the way those apocalyptic themes interact with like people and nature at large is where you're statistically likely to find more meaning there than if you're keeping it limited to what's going on. And I think that's an instance of like the end of Evangelion is a picture of where Ano was at and dealing with his depression at the time, and I think Rebuild 4 is the same, but because I looked this up, he would have been 39 when End of Evangelion came out, like the original, 39, and he's 61. He's 61 this year.
I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, well, it's like, and so the OG is a picture of where he was able to get by the time he was practically 40, which take that however you like or whatever, and then take another 20 years and all the global upheaval that we've experienced. And he made Godzilla, and he had to apologize to everybody for making Godzilla instead of Evangelion 4. And it like
Shin Godzilla is dope. I don't care.
It's the shit.
No, I'm sure I want to watch it too. I still haven't seen it.
It's so good.
I read that apology, and he was so contrite that like he made it Godzilla, and like he kept people waiting on Evangelion. I thought it was quite wholesome. I felt bad for him because I was like, fuck us, do your thing. Like that's my resting kind of perspective towards what artists want to do. But
I guess if he's gonna do anything else after this last
reboot. Well, yeah, he says he's gonna do more live action shit for now.
Cool.
That's what I would like.
Let's get a Shin Evangelion.
That's what this one's called in certain.
That's literally what it's called. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
I would be fine with him never touching Evangelion again. I think that's what he says by no more Evangelion at the end. He means no more Evangelions.
I don't want him to go. I do want another anime from him though.
I would like another, even just like a mini series or something.
The tagline of this movie is "Bye bye all of Evangelion."
Okay.
I'd love to see some sort of anime from him again. He's a master of the crap. And it's one of the only anime that doesn't like. So a lot of anime are based off manga, and it's one of those banger anime that's not based off any manga. It's all original ideas. Like there's only a few that you can name that have done that, like Cowboy Bebop and everything that dude's made is all original ideas. So it's impressive as fuck to see.
Which is good. It does show in the animation sometimes with the amount of keyframes and stuff they use that it's taken from manga, which hurts the medium, I think, in the perspective of
absolutely
newcomers, because it can seem kind of cheap or static, and that's because they're literally taking it from manga pages.
Well, what happens a lot of the time whenever anime is made from a manga is that they end up starting the anime while the source material is still being written out, and then they catch up to that source material and then they have to make up bullshit.
The Game of Thrones problem.
I was Game of Thrones and One
Original
Piece.
Full Metal
is there.
Alchemist is
Yeah,
that
the OG
halfway through
Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah,
they
then,
go a
like-
different direction. Some people don't like that direction. I personally like it, and I
It's
like
okay.
both that and Full
I
Metal
prefer
Alchemist
both.
Brotherhood equally.
Just
But,
that's the problem. That's what we weebs in the community call it, filler arcs. That's where that shit comes from, and
because they
sometimes
gotta wait
end up-
for it to catch up. Yeah,
there's sometimes where they've done anime and they've caught up to the source material, and then they said, "Fuck it, we're not making another season," and leaves off.
I respect
the entire
that.
season. It's like, what the fuck? I don't.
That's
Fuck
fucking
that.
stupid.
Give me my story.
Why not? I mean, it's a capitulation that it's like we began with someone else's story and
No,
ideas.
but the
and
manga's not over. They're just waiting for it to like
To
you know
keep going.
to keep going.
The story is still going, but
The
the
story's
manga,
still going in the manga.
the anime is not going. Like
well,
there's the perfect example of that.
I would concede that is stupid.
Yeah,
I would concede that it is in a perfect world where they could resume when the source material. That's what I was picturing.
Well, that's
but
what
if
happened with Full Metal Alchemist is that they finished off before the series was even ended, and then they were like, "Wait, the ending, the actual source material is a banger. Let's make that." So they went back and made Brotherhood fully accurate to the manga,
Right.
and had like
It's really it not to divert too hard or whatever, but like how Game of Thrones shifts is a really excellent point, like perspective in the power versus like a good story and good art versus, because after season 4 of Game of Thrones, it's essentially all studio fuckery. They were like, we don't care that he's not finished. We need to plow on ahead anyway. And they plowed on ahead anyway. And
that's George R.R. Martin's fucking fault, dude. He's been writing that goddamn book for like 15 fucking years.
Isn't it 2 books?
It's I'm pissed about it. I've been waiting for these books for a fucking minute. The Winds of Winter needs to come out fucking soon.
That's why, dude. I know this sounds holder now. That's why I didn't get in. I didn't get invested early. I was like, if this gets finished, I might read it or watch it. But
dude, I remember I was late to the game on Game of Thrones. I started watching, I don't know when it came out, but I think it was like 2013 is when I started watching it.
Yeah.
I went to Game Exchange. I was like, fuck it, I'll buy the first season. It's like $15 on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Came back, watched that whole fucking season, and then the very next day went and bought the second season.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm gonna watch that now.
When Game of Thrones, when the show hits, it's really good. Like, and that's what made seasons 5 and on so sad.
I was okay with everything up until the last half of the latest season, and then I was like, this. I already knew that the 2 showrunners didn't know how to write women very well, but then they really showed
how to write their tits.
Dude, why is it so hard to write women? You just write people.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you do. I don't understand it. No, I'm not even joking or trying to be woke or anything.
It sucks.
It's just like it's the same as writing a man.
It's disgusting the way that they did the women in that show, honestly. And
anyway.
Yeah, fortunately, Evangelion has nothing but perfectly woke feminist depictions.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know.
Anyway, were you gonna say something? You know?
No. I have to jump in there real quick, like on the Evangelion tangential, like actual point or whatever. It killed me, like not in a bad way. Like I thought it was like absolutely perfect or whatever. That despite the times, there was no shortage of like gratuitous like softcore TNA in Rebuild number 4. Like it takes pains to show like ass shots and stuff like that or whatever. And I was like, interesting. Respect.
There's no cancel culture in Japan.
Most of
there's no Weinstein.
I would say most of the sex in Evangelion is shameful as fuck, in my opinion. Like
it's used to illustrate larger points, and a lot of people don't get that.
It's really like Shinji fucking climaxing over the comatose Asuka. I was like, God damn, I feel dirty watching.
You could not have phrased that in a more disgusting way.
That's literally what it is. It's like, what the fuck?
You're not wrong. I'm not saying that, but like you literally said climaxed over. Can't repeat it, dude. I can't. No. Okay. All right. We're good.
Our podcast title.
I want to talk about one of the more Adrian scenes in this movie, and it's when they're literally standing in front of a projection of the original series.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, this is one of my favorite movies of all time.
No, yeah, that was the
Hyper
a lot of Rebuild 4 affects me in like my heart, you know, the shit that I feel most deeply and stuff like that. When it got to the where it was reflected, like projecting OG Evangelion, that was like the head exploder.
Yeah,
that was like heart and head, like.
That's when I realized that the whole
it was
series,
really satisfying.
It's not 3 separate entities, but the whole series is one piece of work. So
right.
I realized that these weren't just like rehashes, but it's one piece of work.
Yeah.
And time's resetting at the end of each one of these.
Right.
Because it took me a little while to understand. I was like, why the fuck are they doing this? Until that like final scene, and I was like, okay, this is all fully intertwined. This is Shinji making these decisions each time and then having the chance to kind of redo them until he gets it right. And that's really fucking cool.
That's why people, because I knew going in, like, I was like, surely there has to be like a time loop or something. And then it's literally called Thrice Upon a Time. A lot of people don't realize because there's the original ending to the show, and then there's the ending to Evangelion, and then now there's the third ending. So it's like
a lot of people, including Scott, didn't realize that until just now.
So like
it's a complex universe.
I remember
it's really, even like that's what I've seen. It's like even it some stuff can really go over the heads of people that are really smart. Like I don't know. I know I'm a fucking dumbass, but I like, you know. Yeah.
As soon as I finished them, I messaged Adrian because he was the only one I knew had watched it at that point, and was just like explaining all this stuff to him, and he was like, "Yep, that's how it was supposed to go, like this." Because I was like, because I didn't understand it for a second, and then talking it through with Adrian, I was like, "Okay, then that is how I'm following."
Right.
Okay, that's fucking awesome. Like
this is one of the few shows that I like have done leaps and bounds to really just understand. So I was very excited to talk about this today because of how much it means to me, and just how obviously there's plenty of shit left to interpretation, but like some of these people I know, patricians as we might call them, are just have missed the entire point, and it just bums me out because some of these people are just so stuck in their ways with like, oh, it was too cheesy, it was happy ending, like fuck that movie. Like fuck you. Give me a fucking break here.
And let me say this real quick about nerds and film nerds in general. Having a lot of knowledge about the events of something, meaning I've seen a lot of movies, I've seen a lot of anime, I have knowledge of character names, etc., that does not equate to critical analysis abilities. Okay. I mean, pick up a fucking book is kind of what I'm saying to some people.
Right. And obviously a lot of the Christian imagery and shit in this series is because it's cool. You don't have to like I'm not going to sit here and try to pick apart and understand the imaginary universe that they go into this fourth film. Like
that's not your
breaking open on the top of a forehead with a giant cross being impaled.
And by engaging your logical faculties in such an obscene effort, you're diminishing the emotional returns. And then also, it's the amount of people who don't get this. It amazes me. Critical theory 101. The things that an artist puts into their work and the things that you bring as a viewer to the work are not the same thing, and that's fine.
I don't believe in critical theory. I think we should keep it out of schools,
especially when it has to do with race, right?
I don't believe in the
critical NASCAR race theory. Yeah, I'm not about it. I think anybody who's mad about a happy ending likes to fucking be miserable all the time, because I feel like we earned that happy ending.
Oh yeah.
I feel like with the amount of fucking shit that's gone on in that fucking series, we've earned for Shinji to be a decent person.
Yes.
And Anno's earned it.
Yeah, Anno's fucking
shout out to above all. Yeah, I'm very happy that
we nihilists. We don't feel anything.
We have like we purposely never seen Shinji over the age of 14, so seeing him as an adult gave me like immediate shivers.
It was a serotonin boost.
Very
for sure.
Purposeful.
Yeah,
and like I don't know. Yeah, I love this movie.
Watch the fucking series. Watch it from start to finish.
Yeah.
and try to watch it as not as quickly, but like as a whole, as opposed to separating.
No, don't watch it quickly. First of all, if you haven't watched it, then none of this podcast made sense to you anyway. But second of all, it's just 4 madmen rambling. But second, like, Evangelion is one of those series where I tell people to like take a break between every couple of episodes, like let it settle.
Don't give it like a fucking couple month long or couple month long break though. Like try to watch it pretty consecutively, sure. So you can
within 1 month or 2, watch the series.
Yeah, I think a month would be great to watch that whole thing.
Yeah, just like an episode a night is perfect.
You don't have to be like me, who gets fucking obsessed and watches all of the whole fucking series in like less than a month. So.
I usually watch it in 5 or 6 episode batches, but
that's a good way. The last 3 episodes you got to watch.
I watched the full series and even end of Evangelion in like a 4-day time span.
Fair.
And
sometimes you got to do it. Now, my girlfriend Parker, she's been wanting to watch Evangelion for a while, and I'm like, oh fuck, because she hasn't watched nearly as much shit as I do, so she doesn't.
Or you can watch it once she watches Harry Potter.
Oh well, at least she's watched the first Harry Potter. But
ain't even to the bangers yet, man. Fucking Prisoner.
Some stuff. I'm just gonna have to tell her up front, like, if you want to pause this and ask me questions, that is perfectly fine, because this is one of the most dense TV shows of all time.
Just talking about it on this fucking series, I'm probably going to do a rewatch of the whole thing.
I'm definitely gonna.
Got me hype.
I'm gonna rewatch the Rebuild 4, because I've seen all of the rebuilds except for this one like 3 or 4 times. I've only seen this one twice. So.
Yeah, I've still only seen it the once. I look forward to the not the series, but Rebuild number 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the series. I think I'm gonna start it today, actually.
Yeah. Y'all want to do an episode by episode breakdown of the original series for a little while?
Right now, until for the next 4 hours.
Yes. I can do it. I don't have work at 2.
Oh
yeah.
We should all harmonize the theme song together before we go out.
No.
Yeah, I'm with Adrian.
This is gonna sound racist.
I want to thank everyone for coming to the Evangelion cast live in theaters.
Good chat.
I know you're watching this in theaters right now, so
that's true.
Appreciate you. My favorite movie of the year so far. I'd like to talk about my second favorite movie of the year so far pretty soon, called Annette. Maybe we'll get to that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna move this conversation into the after show. So thank you all for listening. If you want to continue listening for a little bit, me and Cash are gonna bullshit for a second. Scott's gonna poop, and then Sumner's gonna go to work.
Shameless plug. My life is still in shambles. If you would like to reach out and talk to me, I will take any human contact I can get.
Web of life.
Yeah. So.
Here's Can, man. All right. Yeah. Right. I gotta rock a piss. Big time. So.
Go to TJ's.
Anyway.
Yeah. Here, stay on. Don't log off because I want to talk to you guys a bit.
Okay.
But let me.
That's fine. I gotta take a piss anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful.
I'll keep everyone. If anyone's still listening, I'm the KINO Cowboy. What am I gonna do today? Well, today's my off day, so probably gonna watch movies. I will probably watch the 4th Rebuild later because I didn't rewatch it for this cast, but I'd already seen it twice, so I knew it pretty well. I rewatched the 3rd one actually this morning because Scott and I rewatched he watched them for the first time. When he was in town, we watched the first 2, and then it's been like a month and a half, 2 months. And I was like, well, I better rewatch the 3rd one. Just because most shows like this, I don't get into this much where I obsess over every little piece and rewatch this much. Usually I will go years between watching TV shows, but Evangelion I will rewatch like every year or so, just because.
I do a rewatch of the UK version of Skins every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those shows I love.
I'll throw on comedy shows all the time. Futurama, King of the Hill, Simpsons, because that's different. But like storyline based shows like this and like Twin Peaks are like the only 2 shows I will watch every year or 2. Well, I think the Clone Wars is going to start entering that now because I've watched the Clone Wars twice, and I'm going to probably rewatch it again before the Ahsoka series comes out. I don't know if that's going to be a limited series or if that's going to be like a Mandalorian.
Yeah, like a continued series. I don't know. I would think so.
I don't know.
I'm excited for Boba Fett.
Yeah,
that shit's gonna be fucking wicked. That's
I
been one
hope
of my
so.
favorite characters since I was a kid.
That's the thing, is that my investment in Star Wars TV, like on Disney Plus, I'm less anal about what happens, because it's TV. I'm not trying to say TV is not as important as film, but like in the Star Wars canon, it's like, okay, cool, y'all can do more weird shit. Not weird,
In
but
the
like
Star Wars TV canon is the future.
like I know they're gonna do more fan service on TV, even though they've already done plenty of fan service with the sequels. But
you need to finish Visions.
Yeah. Do we need a 5 or 6 episode Obi-Wan show? No, not at all. Am I gonna watch it? Yeah, because I'm fucking cucked. I don't care.
We need it. I need.
I'm just trying to figure out what, because Hayden Christensen is returning, but like how much? Like I feel like they're overhyping that because it can only do so much. The man is aged. It's not like they can throw him back into like Clone Wars era,
Make him be a Force ghost, dog.
Well, he's not dead yet.
Wait, and fuck. Oh,
he's not dead yet. And good news is mostly.
Oh yeah, I guess he would be dead in so I guess he would be a Force ghost in the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, I'm talking about the Kenobi limited series.
Oh, is he coming back for that too?
Yeah,
there'll probably be flashbacks.
I don't know. Either way,
adventuring.
Next show I've only seen Cowboy Bebop once, and that was in 2016. So I'm gonna rewatch that this month before I watch the live action one. Well, I'm gonna give the live action one a couple episodes of a chance, and if I don't dig it, I'm not gonna continue.
It looks like it's gonna be good. I
don't see the point.
Well, yeah, it's
money.
Watch the anime. Yeah.
I still haven't seen the anime. I need to.
Yeah,
it's just weird. They've got characters. They've got characters in it. Like it's not supposed to be continuation, but like the characters that they're using, or it's supposed to be like they're new stories, but like half those characters are dead that they're using, like the villains and shit. They got like the Mad Puro and shit like that, and it's like
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Cowboy Bebop is my favorite anime, by the way. I've got fucking Pop Funko figures. That's like the only thing I buy for those. But seeing the way that they're filming it and the way that everybody looks and having the same composer do everything, it's like it's feeding into everything I want, and I'm being hopelessly optimistic.
Sure.
Okay, can I just say I'm very disturbed because after us talking about mechas and me mentioning Gundam, I get a suggested group for Gundam mobile suit posting.
Yeah, it's fucked. Shit.
It's fucked. I mean, maybe they know that we talked about Evangelion in Facebook chat and stuff, but it's still
I don't know. Parker was like, she bought vitamins. She's like, I need to start taking daily vitamins again. I was like, yeah. So she bought some, and now I personally have seen like 4 ads for vitamins on her Facebook.
Because it knows that she bought them.
Oh,
Any website that has a little Facebook widget, they know what you're doing.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, Cowboy Bebop is the most vaporwave fucking show of all time.
Most vaporwave?
Yeah, with its aesthetics.
I'm trying to think of there's actually probably more anime that are similar to the vaporwave aesthetic.
I know. I'm just being broad. But
KINO.
That show I watched mostly when I would get off work, but like when I was younger, I caught a few episodes at like 4 a.m. on Toonami, and that really like hit with the atmosphere of the show. So I kind of have fond memories of seeing it on Toonami.
It's one of my favorite space western anthology series ever.
What about Space Dandy?
Space Dandy's the shit. It's
I need to watch
I'm gonna
that.
start getting ready.
It's like
it was super good chatting with y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, buddy.
Peace.
It's like
Get
peak,
naked on camera, Sumner.
Do
peak,
what?
like
Get
satire.
naked. You gotta get nude.
I can't figure out.
Can't figure out how to get out. I can boot you.
Nah, my computer's froze or something.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
I'm gonna remove you. Remove Sumner.
Cool, bro.
No, don't report to Zoom.
Reported to Zoom.
Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Yeah. Sumner
No.
has been removed. Okay.
So Space Dandy. Space Dandy is like peak science fiction satire to the like max capital. Like it's like takes capitalism, makes fun of it a lot too.
Okay.
They have one of my favorite like just little tiny non-spoilery things in it is that they've got restaurants. We've got Hooters. The space restaurants are called Boobies. And it's where he goes and gets his alien stuff. And it's got some really badass psychedelic like animation style. It's one of the more heavily like psychedelic animations that I've seen that guy's done. Because like he's done
if Evangelion's your number 6 anime, what's your top 5?
One Piece, Cowboy Bebop, Terror and Resonance, Another, and then what is the last one?
Another?
Yeah, it's a horror anime called Another. I guess it'd be in my top 5. Evangelion would be number 5.
Yeah.
But those top 4, One Piece is OG. That's the top.
Evangelion would be number 1 for me. And
why did I say it? Full Metal Alchemist is over.
Yeah, I was gonna say Full Metal Alchemist.
Brotherhood specifically.
Brotherhood is my.
But those are my big ones. Another is like a story about a classroom that's cursed because someone died in the classroom a long time ago, and every year the classroom is given, and there's one person extra in the classroom, and they have to figure out who that is before the end of the school year. Otherwise, people die in these really brutal fucking deaths. Like the first death of the season is like the teacher stabbing himself in the fucking neck and plopping on the chalkboard and then ripping his fucking throat out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It's pretty gory, but like the actual story and the whole concept of it is fucking dope. I really liked it. There's a lot more I can add past top 5, and there's like a lot more that I can like say.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I'm a big fan of like.
Remember Clan Ad?
I do remember Clan Ad.
Our friend Aaron King cried over that show.
What is that?
It's a dumb fucking show. It's like slice of life type shit.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot of slice of life I like. I liked Your Name. That was pretty slice of life.
Yeah. There was
I like Shin Chan.
And Your Name. One thing I like about Your Name, I feel like I could watch that movie if I remember it correctly. I could probably watch that movie with my family and them enjoy it.
Absolutely.
It's not. If I try to show my family Evangelion, they'd be like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, no, it's easy to understand. It's really accessible. It has some really high conceptualized like science fiction-y fantasy.
But they get it. It's like Freaky Friday.
Yeah,
right.
And like, well, the whole concept of like she's in one place in time and he's in another, and they're switching not only bodies but time.
Which is actually that. I know this movie's been done to death, but that when I first heard of the movie, I was like, "Oh, body swap. I've seen that in freaking hentai. Like, that's not that impressive." But then I was like, but once they got to that second act or whatever it was of here's what's really going on, that's when the movie just jumps. I was like, "Oh, this is way more involved than I thought it was." So yeah, dude, I freaking love that movie. I didn't see that director's latest thing. I heard it's good.
Yeah.
Weathering with You. More. Is that it?
I don't even know, but
if that's it, me and Parker saw that in theaters. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as Your Name, but it was a fun movie. I liked it.
Yeah.
There's some other slice of life movie I watched on Netflix. It was like A Silent Voice, I think.
Silent Voice is the shit. It's so
pretty good.
It's a beautiful story too. That one's good. I want to watch A Girl Who Leapt Through Time. Paprika's on my list this week.
I haven't seen Paprika. I've seen
dude, you gotta watch
Blue, and
you gotta watch. Oh, you've seen that?
I've seen Tokyo Godfathers and Perfect Blue.
Okay, yeah.
I like Perfect Blue. I love Tokyo Godfathers. So I want to see
Tokyo Godfathers is like a yearly. I watch it in December every year.
Yeah, me too, dude. I fucking
one of my
love
favorites.
Tokyo Godfathers.
I usually try to see it in theaters when it comes to theaters.
I saw it in theaters. That was
what
the last.
What is that?
I saw
the
Perfect
last
Blue
movie I
theaters.
saw in theaters before COVID shut down the theaters.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
COVID's awesome.
Fucking COVID, rock on, dude.
What are you drinking?
Me?
Yeah, what was that?
It's Mao, which is it's like the Bud Light of Madrid. It's a Spanish beer.
Interesting.
It's pretty. What's better? I should have just gotten 2 of these. I don't know why I wanted to mix it. Estrella Galicia. Galicia is a region in the north of Spain. They actually speak a different language there.
I don't want you to mansplain these fucking beers to me, dude.
Estrella means
the one who
star.
asked, asshole.
Yeah, what's he talking about? Estrella means star, so it's star.
Well, I knew that because of Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, Dora the
Estrella.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is really good. This is probably my favorite Spanish beer. It's very common too.
What kind
it's
of
just
is it?
like a light beer.
Yeah.
You know, they're not as they're more conservative in their beer choices. I mean, they have not had the craft beer explosion. You do Mao, it has a Dunkelbrau or like a Doble Lupulo is like a darker brew that I like more than the standard. The standard is just a very easy to drink while you're having tapas sort of thing. Alhambra is a good beer. I haven't had Alhambra red, but Alhambra's good. San Miguel is swill. That's just cheap if you're a college student.
Went and had a couple really, really good Bloody Marys yesterday after I got out of the movie.
I'm not a Bloody Mary guy. Here's the thing: I don't really like tomato sauce, and I don't really like tomato juice, and I don't really like vodka. So it's
I love a good Bloody Mary. I had 2 of them. They were made with like some weird spice on the rim and all that, and pretty good. Got home though, and I fucking had heartburn like a motherfucker though.
It happens.
But I got to try Korean corn dogs yesterday.
Damn.
What's that?
It's basically a corn dog made with like different breadcrumbs or like French fries or sweet potato fries. They deep fry it, and it's either you can have cheese or a hot dog, or you can have both in it.
Yeah.
And the cheese is like cheese pulls to here.
Oh.
It was only like $4, and I got it with some spicy mayo. And it was fire. It's a place called Spoon in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
I tried to go there when I was in Fayetteville last time, and it was closed. I was pissed off.
We'll have to go if you come up here soon, because it's fucking fire and it's cheap. They also do like full Korean barbecue and shit like that in there too.
Damn.
They have like Korean fried wings and bibimbap and all that shit.
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, I was fucking starving. I walked all that shit. So like U of A is like all uphill and all that stuff, and I had to walk all the way from like halfway down Dixon all the way to the back of the football stadium.
Oh yeah.
To hit this Arkansas concert, and I didn't realize it was that hilly, and it was like 2.5 miles total of like just walking around hills, and my legs are jelly today.
I remember I was freshly 21 on Dixon Street with Zach Venable and his roommates, and
shout out to Zach Venable. That guy's cool.
I haven't talked to that guy in years. There's got to be good Korean food in Madrid. I just haven't found it. I'll just say it, and they're not listening anyway. The Spanish palate is not that adventurous. Well, you think it would be? I think it can be. It's just
you're in like cured meat Mecca.
I am in cured meat Mecca. And there's a lot of they're down with olives and pickled stuff, and all that Mediterranean. So here's the thing: I'll make fun of Spaniards and Spanish food. I like Spanish food. I'll admit, just every once in a while.
I think the only real Spanish food besides like the cured meats have been like paellas. Like the only thing
paella, which is it's just jambalaya but not spicy. Really. I'd rather have jambalaya personally. Sorry.
There's a place in Tulsa that does Spanish food that I need to check out.
They have. I can tell you, I love good croquetas. I love a good tortilla, which is not. It's not Mexican tortilla. It's more like an omelet. It's like with potato.
Like a crepe or something.
No, it's like you just look up Spanish tortilla, and then it's an omelet, but there's potatoes in it. And they even call what we call omelets. They call it French tortillas. That's what they call it. I like that. I like Cotito's okay. It's just
it looks like a quiche or almost like a frittata.
But it's made.
So hungry. Goddamn.
It's made with like eggs and potatoes mostly, and there's a big debate on whether or not you should have onions in it. I'm a
Yeah, that's cool. I would eat this. This looks awesome.
Yeah, it's great. You can get it anywhere. You can walk into any bar, any cafeteria, and just be like, order a beer in that.
Oh yeah, you guys are like tapas capital of the world too. So
yeah, we invent, not we, but like inventing tapas. Yeah, tapas is Spanish. I think that's one reason Spaniards are skinny is just because they snack a lot and have little meals. it probably keeps their hunger down, their metabolism high.
Also, the government puts amphetamines in your water.
Yeah, that too. But no, that stuff is good. Patatas bravas, which is just fried potatoes with the brava sauce. I don't even know what's in it, but it's just kind of this lightly spicy sauce. That's really good. And that's one that a lot of Spanish food's meant to be shared. Like it's part of the culture of like you have a beer, not even a full beer. You have a caña, which is like 8 ounces of beer, maybe.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And which caña means cane, like sugar cane, like that. I don't know why it's called that. And I was a Venezuelan friend of mine. I was like, I don't really get it either. But it's like you get just a little one of those, and you share some like potatoes or some cured meats or some tapas. That's just part of the food culture here. It's very social, which is nice. Healthier than what we do, just drowning everything in cheese.
This brava sauce looks good.
It is. It's just I have some in my fridge right now.
Sauce.
It's not tomato. It's
tomato based is what it said on the internet.
Oh, is it? Well, it's lightly. It doesn't really taste tomatoey though.
Got a lot of paprika in it and red wine vinegar.
Oh, yeah,
like that.
Yeah. See, I don't even know what's in it. Spain has good wine. I haven't tried a lot. And one of the also good olive oil that's exported. I even had a teacher tell me like a lot of olive oils you get in Italy or France, they're actually just made in Spain and then they bottle them and package them there. Because really? I think Spain, and I think Spain could market itself better because I think Spain has some really cool stuff. It's just like, see, Americans will market anything and we're really good at it. And we're good at marketing stuff that's not even good. Like we'll sell you a product that's objectively crappy and then market it really well. And so sometimes I feel like Spaniards like market a bit. I don't know. Like you got some cool stuff. But that's
a tour of the meats down there because that's like the best pork product.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, you have your chorizo, you have different types of chorizo. You have chorizo pamplona, which I really like.
I'm a pork slut.
Yeah, you have lomo, which I've had a good lomo. I mean, I could walk down the street here, probably not here, but like if you walk down the street, you'll see legs of ham, just cured ham.
I like seeing that.
I mean,
it's human legs that I see.
The jamon serrano, the serrano ham. There's a big difference between good because some places they'll be like 17 euros for a plate of serrano ham, to share.
What is that in dollars? Do you know?
17 pretty much depends on the exchange rate. When I say euro, add 20% for dollars. Okay. So that would be like $22 or something.
For a pound?
No, for like a plate.
Holy shit.
But here's that's at a restaurant, not at a grocery store. Okay. And then sometimes like I see the ham and I'm like, that is technically jamon serrano, but that's not the good stuff. And I know you're getting away with highway robbery charging that much, And here's the thing:
your ham differences now. That's kind of
well. I'll go buy cheap ham serrano in the store, like a little packet deli meat for like $2. But if I want the real stuff, I want it like aged. Fine. I mean, you can get a leg of hams. You can get it everywhere from like $60 to like hundreds of dollars.
That's fucking cool.
You also have to imagine wages in Spain are typically lower than most of Western Europe and definitely lower than the United States. But I don't know, cost of living is a bit different. Of course, I live in Madrid, which is, especially with rent, like way more expensive. There's some people, and I'm actually getting paid pretty well this year, which is nice. I'm getting paid $1,300 a month, which doesn't sound like a ton, and it's not, I couldn't like invest or do anything crazy, but like, it's not like going out to eat isn't like a crazy decision. I was making $1,000. My rent is $390 plus utilities. So I mean, and then I get paid $1,300, but like I don't have a car because I take the metro. I do have to pay like $80 a month because my metro pass my school is very far out, so I have to pay extra to get through different zones. The farther out. If you're under 25, you can travel everywhere in the community of Madrid, like the province, for like $25 a month, which is awesome.
Not bad.
Yeah, no, dude,
transport is underutilized in this fucking country, man.
Of course, it's not even underutilized, non-existent.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you're going to like big city shit.
I would never do I mean, there's no reason to really have a car here. There just isn't. I mean, unless you just have money to burn, it would be nice, but
get a Vespa.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't trust drivers here. I would say are generally pretty safe, but I don't trust those things. Yeah.
So what you guys got planned for the rest of your Sundays?
I need to. Well, it's 8 here, so I'm gonna eat, and I need to make a presentation for my kids on NASA. or something. The vocabulary, space vocabulary. I don't know. I'm overthinking it. They're in 4th grade. They have 20-minute attention span max.
Do it on Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I can't just do it on Star Wars. The Star Wars is big here, by the way. I have kids who have Star Wars pencil cases and stuff. I'm like, yeah, what's up? But I gotta figure that out. I overthink it. And it's honestly, my coordinator seems happy with what I'm doing. Like the person who coordinates. It's weird. I feel like I don't really have a boss. I'm just placed in this school, and then there's a coordinator, but I don't really have supervisor. And fortunately, this is not my first year teaching, so I know what I'm doing. I have imposter syndrome, but I think a lot of people do. So I don't know. The kids like me. They're learning. My coordinator likes it, so I get over that. I wish I had more time for stand up, but I'm having to wake up early and stuff. I probably shouldn't be drinking this late, but oh well.
Let's go to bed. 2 beers before bed is not bad.
2 beers is
it's enough to make you sleepy.
Alcohol. Well, my big problem with alcohol, one of my big problems, my main problem, is it fucks with my sleep. And I know it does for everybody, but it really does for me sometimes. Where I'll wake up at 4 and then I can't get back to sleep. And then it's my problem with drinking. And this isn't heavy drinking, but drinking heavily, it's not even the hangovers. Although as I get older, that's more of a problem. I used to be immune to them. Now it's just the interruption of the sleep and messing with my circadian rhythm.
Yeah, I got fucking hammered on Friday night, and the sleep was fucking awful. And I went to bed at like 2 or 3 in the morning and woke up at like 7:30.
Yeah, I can't do that because I gotta. Not to beat a dead horse, but I wake up at 6:30. I'm commuting like 2.5 hours a day. So and then working. Mondays are my short days, but I'm gonna be there until at least 3 tomorrow. So it's like. And then also I'm working outside of my working hour because it's not like a 9 to 5. I have to prepare lessons and I don't have to grade, which grading for 5th graders wouldn't be that hard anyway. But I do, for example, I had a writing activity they did, and I need to read some of what they wrote and then kind of think about what I need to teach them. What are the common mistakes? The main thing, they seem to not know what a comma or a period is. They just don't exist, which is weird because that's not an English lesson. That's in every language. It's like you can't have 17 clauses in a sentence with no punctuation. That's just not how language works.
If you're Cormac McCarthy, you can.
If you're Cormac McCarthy, you can.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know why I've been sleeping like shit for the last few weeks. Like I usually don't sleep the best, but I'm talking about my back. I don't understand. Like I've had back problems. I don't know why.
Well, you don't have a box spring, dude.
Right.
You need to get off the ground.
Yeah, but
get a box
I do
spring.
need to get off the ground. Also, Parker's mattress is shitty too. It like sinks in a little bit. I don't know. It's just, but
hey, flip that mattress next time you go to our house.
It's not one that flips.
Is it built-in box spring or something?
No, there's like a. It's one of those mattresses that's only one-sided.
No, the mattress is always going to have 2 sides.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No, the bottom isn't the same texture as the top.
Because you haven't slept on it quite as long.
No,
it's
like completely different texture. It's like,
like flip a mattress. Flip
flat
the fucking
gray.
mattress.
It's not the same.
That's a box. No.
Not all mattresses are fully flippable.
Yeah, I had to flip mine. Like,
no, you can do anything you put your mind to, Adrian. I believe.
No, that's stupid.
Or what you do is you don't flip it. You like turn it so that her side's the one.
And why are you in your girlfriend's bed before marriage anyway?
I don't know, dude. Since this is the after show, I will say, not last night, but 2 nights ago, I was trying to play Plunder on Call of Duty Warzone, and I accidentally greened out, and I got so high that I couldn't play the game. And Matt kept dying, and he would look at my screen. I would just be standing in the corner of a house, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was like, "I can't even comprehend what I'm doing."
And I feel like Call of Duty is a primo stoned game. So if you're too stoned for Call of Duty,
I was so high that I couldn't even comprehend how to play the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was terrifying. Like I was having like cold sweats and like shaking. I was like, fuck, this is why certain people freak out on smoking. Anyway, but like I'll tell you what though, even though I greened out, I fucking slept like a baby, dude.
See, that's the thing.
Best sleep I've had in like a month.
I bought new sheets and now I'm sleeping really well. I guess I had some funky ass sheets, you know.
Me too, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
my
that's nice.
my last sheets I had were, I guess, too like coarse, like too cheap. Like the ones I have now are a little softer.
Yeah, I bought some new ones that are pretty soft and they don't smell like.
Oh shit! Look at this. Scott's fucking giving us a show.
Oh yeah, this is only like 10 pounds. Oh yeah.
You said you don't work today. What are you doing the rest of the day, Kino?
Shit. Probably gonna watch shit, play shit. I don't know. Fucking hungry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to dinner.
Although Parker gets off at 4, so we'll probably go eat later after that. But I don't know. I might pick up Vanguard. I don't know. Because
Don't pick up Vanguard till everybody else can. We all said we
why not? Why are you gonna stop me?
Just wait. Just don't do it.
I can play the campaign. I can play online.
You can wait until we all get it and then we all play it once. How about we play Borderlands 3 that you made me buy?
Hey man, I'm down, but I don't. Justin spends 6 hours a day playing fucking.
So fucking forget Justin. We don't play with him.
fucking.
We have
whatever that
Bound
shit
for
is.
Blood and we have
What's Justin been
Borderlands
playing?
He spends
D&D.
every Sunday for 6 hours playing D&D.
Oh, that's legit though.
No, it's stupid. Like imagine every Sunday, always being, you can't do anything because you.
6 hours is a lot.
Yeah.
3
Like every
hours.
Sunday, like maybe like every 2 weeks or something, or on the weekday, like a weekday. But like if you're working a 9 to 5 and you spend one of your 2 days off every single week playing D&D, that is insane.
Yeah, that's a lot. If you're working 9 to 5 and you're spending 6 hours, yeah, that's a lot of D&D.
Fuck.
And it sounds like he doesn't even. He's complained to me about it before. I'm like, why do you still do it?
But because he always feels guilty about.
Dude,
Shout
it's
out to
D&D.
Justin. Shout out to Justin's D&D group. Let him fucking quit.
Fuck
Here's the
Justin's
thing.
D&D
I
group.
I wish I couldn't do it at this point in my life, but I wish I could go that far in D&D. Highest I've gotten is like level 10. I would love to take a character.
I didn't know this was the nerd cast, but you know, whatever.
I
Yeah,
didn't realize this is the Virgin cast.
Yeah.
I miss tabletop RPGs, but finding a good RPG group that's not full of incels is just it's hard.
I think it's funny that we're calling this the Virgin cast now, and I spent 4 hours last night, or not 4 hours last night, 4 hours the other night watching fucking Warhammer lore videos.
Warhammer lore is fascinating.
Fucking so dope. I can never play it. I don't have the attention span to fucking play the game.
No, it's too expensive. Is
It's
my
like-
it's
But it's so cool.
expensive.
Everything's so fucking cool,
This is
man.
the Stay Hydrated cast, if you didn't know.
This is not a soda. This is water.
I hope so.
I'm drinking beer.
Don't want to roast
Tell you
up
what.
these pops.
I'm
I'm probably gonna finish cleaning up around my house a little bit, and then
I'm not doing an Eternals cast unless it's horrible.
You're not.
I already got spoiled with the fucking end credit scene.
Oh,
so I
well,
really
don't tell
don't
me.
care.
Even though
I do want to see Eternals and probably
I'm gonna watch
in
it.
theaters.
especially because now that I work for the theater, I can watch anything for free.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
And they said
that's like for you. That's like an extra $50 a month.
right. And they said it's not just like 2 tickets a day. It's like I could go watch movies all day if I wanted to.
Damn. I'll have to
I was
come
like,
down.
okay.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Because I don't like giving money back to the place I work for. A Game Point,
steal
like
from
we
them.
would always buy shit from Game Point, and I resent that now. I don't believe in it because Parker spends so much money at the place she works. I'm like, dude, you're getting. Well, I won't say the word because it's offensive now, but
You're getting Romani'd.
Shout out to the
But,
Romani people. You are beautiful people.
They're
I don't-
here. They're
I
on
like
the
doing-
street.
I like
Yeah.
doing random shout outs. That's my favorite thing.
yeah.
Shout
we
out to-
noticed.
Shout out to Depression.
So I still need to see that. I need to watch French Dispatch.
That was really good. I really fucking enjoyed it. It's real different. I know Sam didn't like it really, but
Yeah, well, you know,
Sam liked that shitty Saw prequel this year. So Sam,
well, that's
shout
his
out to
favorite
you.
franchise, so I can understand that.
I know it's a joke.
Um,
it's a joke.
I will.
Sam's
bust his balls
taste
about
is
that.
all over the place.
It is.
Um,
He knows a lot about what he's
Which,
talking
well,
about.
that's what I respect is that Sam is he is authentic in his movie
Yeah.
taste.
It's he knows what he's fucking talking
Now
about.
that we're
too.
out of October, I don't really care about. I was gonna watch Halloween Kills. Now I don't even give a fuck.
Yeah,
I don't care about that.
I still need to watch
Never been big
T10
on
or Titan or however these nerds pronounce it.
Titane. I don't even know.
No, it's
I
not.
didn't watch that.
Tiffany.
I don't need to see French Dispatch in theaters, honestly.
I do because
I enjoyed it.
I would like to if I had the time, but just with time constraints and money, just I don't know if that's
No
for me
shit.
right now.
The Malco movie theater in Fayetteville is fucking nice. It has a fucking fountain on the inside.
Is that
I've-
the one where I saw Rogue One?
Is French Dispatch that necessary to see in a theater?
I enjoyed it in theater.
I think
thought
it's
the
cool to see
the
Wes
way it's
Anderson
because the way
films
it's
in
filmed,
theaters.
it does that classic Wes Anderson set piece
You're
thing,
right.
but like to the fucking max and on a big screen. It just like you can like notice things a little bit better. Of like,
And I'm not a huge Wes Anderson. I've
I am a
seen
fucking nerd about him.
I've seen Isle of Dogs, Moonrise Kingdom, and Rushmore, and that's it. I'm not.
Oh,
huge.
you ain't seen the Royal
fucking
Tenenbaums? You
dork.
ain't seen
Nope.
fucking Fantastic Mr. Fox?
No, haven't seen that. Haven't seen
What
Grand
the
Budapest.
fuck?
Okay, the best
What?
ones are
Yeah.
the Royal Tenenbaums, the one that came out in 2014, which is
Budapest.
Grand Budapest. You gotta watch those, and then you gotta watch Mr. Fox for sure.
Mr. Fox is one of
Those are like the best
movies
three.
you can-
Okay.
yeah. And then this one ranks probably in like mid tier for him.
Yeah.
It's not the best. It's different
lowest-
though.
If I have time, I'll go see it.
It's way
the-
different than his other ones because it's like it's not just like one set story. It's like an anthology almost.
That's cool.
Yeah. Matt was talking to me about how it's different from his other shit, but it still really spoke to him. So
Lots of titties in this one too.
oh yeah, good.
Which is nice.
I can always use
Artful nudes.
what's the word? I don't know.
It's funny.
But,
That was a good one. Good joke.
Yeah, good joke. I failed it. Sorry. No one's listening to this at the end of this cast anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah.
If no one's listening to it, then I got something to say.
Oh no.
Let me talk to you about Palestine real quick.
All right, thanks for
Just
watching,
about
guys.
to go into